So I want to do some videos on teaching everybody a little bit about mindfulness. I can write a bunch of stuff, but I think videos is going to be a little bit easier for me to teach, especially because I've had some people that wanted more like one-on-one training. And there's a lot of people, so this is going to be my easiest way of navigating that with so many. So mindfulness is going to be your lifesaver and lifeline right now. If I could give anybody the top tool out of what I would recommend, it would be to learn mindfulness and to shift your brain and thoughts into the present moment. So right now there's a lot of uncertainty. I know, especially for those who are deployed, there is a lot of fear, anxiety, rightly so, especially with what's going on with what just happened in Jordan. And I know a lot of the spouses as well are feeling very similar emotions in association to that. So to teach mindfulness, first I need to go down like a few different avenues. Our minds in high threat situations tend to easily want to take over. It'll hijack everything. This can be to the point where it'll disrupt sleep, it'll disrupt digestion, it'll start to disrupt the entire biological system because our bodies are going into this fight and flight response. What that is happening, it is basically shutting down everything that it feels is non-essential because it's going into survival mode because it's perceiving that there's a threat. So we have to train and teach our brains that even though there is a threat, that we can control it and then we can handle and manage what's going on enough so that systems can go back into a state of balance. So some simple mindfulness techniques, I want to try and keep it short, as I know everybody's really busy and I can easily bombard you with way too much information. So what I want to do today is just kind of keep it simple and is a technique of using a stop sign. So anytime your brain starts to run off with scenarios or go into anything that's not the present moment, think of a stop sign to get yourself to literally stop. You can think of another technique or image that helps you as a mental cue, but you really want to find a way to disrupt the loop and the cycles. So why we want to disrupt it is think of every time you have a thought, you're holding a brick in your hand and you're laying down another piece for a road. The more you start to think repetitive patterns or repetitive thoughts, it basically is wiring your neurological pathways in your brain to do it faster and faster and faster each time. So we don't want that, especially if it's geared towards fear-based anxiety thoughts that are just going to keep the cycle going and consistently derail the day or, how we're doing. So think of every time your brain is starting to go off, you want to find a way to bring it back, disrupt it, and shift it into a different direction. So mindfulness is not about like taking over and stopping thoughts. It's about training your brain to shift, to redirect, and harness like where you want it to go. Now, an exercise to kind of show how easy this can be is I want you to think of yourself and think of who's thinking the thoughts. It creates some kind of distance, and suddenly there's like two aspects of the self. Everybody can do this, where you become the observer of yourself and like the internal dialogue. It might take a little bit of practice, but if you just think for a second, who within me is thinking the thoughts? And you'll kind of realize the brain is a little bit of its own entity and the conscious observer is something else. So the brain can be like a computer program that's just running 100 miles an hour. When we induce stress in situations that are outside of our control, I can amp up that system and it just runs even faster. So you want to find a way to calm it down and redirect it. So that's essentially what mindfulness is. You're harnessing the present moment and you're shifting so the mind's not controlling you, you're controlling the mind. So we're doing a little bit of Jedi training for those of you who are Star Wars fans. And we're going to hopefully teach you how to shift and redirect those thoughts. So we got the stop sign, the aspect of the bricks. I think each thought is like a brick, and you want to take that brick and consciously put it somewhere else, or stop the road from being built in the first place. So those are a couple techniques. Third, thinking of a way, it can be anything that works best for you, to pull yourself into the present moment. So anytime our brain wants to jump to worst case scenarios, essentially what's happening within the body is that something doesn't feel safe and it doesn't know why. So our brain is designed to protect us. It is essentially trying to figure out, it's like running on a loop, what's wrong and why. Now we know consciously, hey, I'm scared because of my loved one, or I'm scared because I'm in a high threat situation. We can consciously register that, but our brain is designed in every possible way to protect us. So if it feels out of control, just know it's just doing its job. It's designed, like I said, to keep you safe and protected. And if it can't figure out like what is the problem, it's gonna like just run off. So essentially you want to try and teach your brain that you have control of the situation, even though I know a lot of us, especially those deployed, you don't have control of the situation, but you can take control of your personal situation. So you want to redirect that into a way where you are telling your nervous system it's okay and that I'm okay. So when you can go internally, one technique for this is your breath. Your breath is super, super like the core thing connected to your nervous system, and it's an easy way to hack it. So you want to notice where you're breathing from. So oftentimes when we're anxious, we're breathing from up here, when really we need to be breathing down into our belly. So when we're anxious, our energy and our breath is high because it's getting us ready to run and take off and fight and do whatever we need to protect ourselves. So if you redirect your breath to make it very slow and like deep, you're going to shift your vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve is a nerve of your central nervous system, directly connected from your gut and your breath and your whole brain. And it's essentially the wiring process that says, do I need to turn on and activate all the systems to run or fight something? Or can I be calm and relaxed and everything's okay? So breath is central to that system within our biology. So ensuring that you're taking slow, consistent, deep breaths. If you are in a heightened threat situation, it is still something that you can do for your nervous system to get it to calm down. And I really want to emphasize that this is very important, because when we are stressed and heightened, our brains go into a different mode of processing our surroundings. So it becomes very narrow and zoomed in, and it doesn't necessarily pick up the whole picture. And so we can miss certain things, and we can inadvertently put ourselves into a state of danger if there's danger around us. So you want to be able to train your breath to become slow, paced, consistent, so that your brain doesn't go into this zoomed in survival mode. You want to be able to allow your brain to do its work, its job, and like pull back. Okay, so I'm close to 9 minutes. I don't want to bombard everybody. So I'm going to try and do some of these videos with like slow little techniques to learn to train and shift your thought process. Because right now I know that there's a lot of uncertainty of what everybody is feeling, a lot of fear, and especially for those who are deployed, there's a lot that's going to be happening. So I will do my best to try and guide them based on the feedback that I'm hearing from people. So please just reach out to me. Let me know if you don't know what you need. Just let me know what you're feeling, and I can try and shift and navigate around that. So right now, I'm just kind of taking an educated guess and centering this on anxiety, fear, uncertainty, kind of all of the main emotions that rightfully we would be feeling in situations like this. So please message me, let me know. I have way too much information in my brain on this, so I'm gonna have to, like, it's easier if I have cue words or like I need this or this and this, and then it's easier for me to kind of like brain dump. But I will keep kind of doing these little snippets. So there's some techniques for today. If you want to read a book, that is going to be really helpful. It's called Wherever You Go, There You Are by Jon Kabat-Zinn. He is the leading figure who brought mindfulness into Western medicine for cancer patients. And it's a really great book. I think as you read it, it helps really shift your brain and your thought processes into a grounded present moment. So I will put a link for that. I have no affiliate to this. It's just a really good book, in my opinion, on teaching mindfulness and awareness. So like I said, this is a skill that's going to be your lifesaver for sanity in the next coming, time frame that we have to deal with. So there's lesson 1.